Hi, Blake from footballboots.co.uk, and today we're going to review New Balance Football's Furon Pro. Now this is a speed boot. It's New Balance Football's new speed boot. It's their first ever speed boot. New Balance took over from Warrior Sports, and essentially the Warrior Sports Superheat was their former speed boot. Now they've got the Furon Pro. It's headed on by Alvaro Negredo and Jesus Navas, two Spanish players. So is it any good? Is it up to standard with any other speed boots on the market? We'll find out in this video. So New Balance Football have given the Furon Pro a white, red and blue colourway. This is the launch design. New Balance Football recently launched a purple and lime edition, really modern colourway, but the template can offer some stunning colourways. I'm not really a big fan of this white, red and blue edition. It's pretty standard. I'm more of a fan of black and sort of classic colours, but yeah, standard design in terms of the Furon Pro on the launch edition. So what are we talking about in terms of fit and sizing of the Furon Pro? As you can see, the last is kind of strange. On the medial side, it's very, very straight, and on the lateral side, I guess it's a standard, but it's going to fit very narrow. It's got this burrito tongue, which will also lock down your foot. It's going to be very narrow. Those wider-footed players out there, I probably wouldn't suggest this boot. In terms of sizing, true to size would be the way to go with the Furon Pro, even half a size up. If you are a wide-footed player but want a speed boot, you potentially go half a size up, but in terms of fit, it's very narrow, like most speed boots on the market. So what are you going to get in terms of breaking these boots in? The Furon Pro, as you may not be aware, is very, very stiff right out of the box. So you look at this, it's just super stiff. I'm pushing as hard as I can and it's not really budging at all. That is the very stiff sole plate for you. In terms of the upper, again, it's not the softest upper and it's not the most flexible upper on the market. It's quite soft, but it sort of retains its shape when you push down on it, and that will take a bit of time to get used to. And in terms of the burrito tongue, again, breaking that in is going to take some work. It's going to be one of the hardest boots to break in on the market, and yeah, it's just very stiff right out of the box. That's a great pair. So what are we talking about in terms of the upper? So the Furon Pro has a very stiff synthetic microfiber upper. It's not as thin and flexible as what you get out of Nike's Superfly or Vapor 10 or Adidas's X on the X skin, but essentially it's a synthetic upper. It's thin, it's designed to offer a really barefoot feel. It will provide that, but in terms of breaking this boot in, it's going to be very hard. Yeah, so the upper is not as high quality as what you get out of Nike, Adidas or Puma boots. So the Furon Pro has a burrito tongue, which is a feature not really seen on modern day football boots. It was seen on that old T90. I'll chuck a picture up on the screen now if you want to have a look at it. And essentially it's designed to offer a much cleaner striking surface. It does have off-center lacing, so essentially it's designed for the players that take chances. The Alvaro Negredo, off-center lacing, players that like to shoot often, players that like to score goals. Burrito tongue will offer a very clean striking surface, but in terms of comfort, it may take some time to get used to, but the burrito tongue is certainly a feature which has not been seen on many football boots today. So New Balance Football have given the Furon Pro a Fantom Fit cage. It's their name for their midfoot cage. So like most speed boots on the market, Adidas's X, you've got the X cage, and on the Nike Mercurial Vapor 10, you've got an internal cage system. But essentially the Furon Pro has an external cage, and essentially just designed to lock your foot in place for explosive agility and traction. So the sole on the Furon Pro is quite stiff out of the box, as I mentioned before, and it's got a TPU acceleration zone. It's this red system on the forefoot, and essentially it's designed for those turns and agility. And yeah, essentially this spine bar makes this sole plate very, very stiff, as you can see. If you compare it to something like Puma's evoPower, it's almost the complete opposite. The evoPower 1.2's sole plate is very, very flexible, but this is almost the complete opposite in terms of flexibility, and essentially it will take some time to break this boot in, but essentially the sole is quite aggressive with these studs, and it's got like triangular studs, 2 on the heel and a few on the forefoot and toe box. But yeah, it's a really sort of aggressive sole plate on the Furon Pro. So what are you getting in terms of protection? So this is a speed boot, as you may be aware, so protection is not going to be great overall, as you may be aware. So the Furon Pro would be your option if you wanted a New Balance boot, and if you wanted a boot for protection. This is a boot purely designed for the wingers, the strikers, the players with pace. Essentially the Furon Pro is your playmaker's option. Aaron Ramsey headlines that boot. If you wanted a boot for protection, you would go for that. So you'd avoid the Furon Pro if you wanted a boot just for protection. Now in terms of durability, this is a new product, and essentially it's not going to be as good as what you get out of a Nike, Puma or Adidas product, but the durability will be good if you take care of it, like most boots. So how does this boot compare to other speed boots on the market? As I said before, Warrior Sports were overtaken by New Balance. They had the Superheat, now they've got the Furon Pro. Essentially, it is an upgrade from the Superheat Pro, but overall, it's not going to be as good as the Vapor 10, the Superfly, the X Prime Knit, the evoSPEED by Puma, Adidas and Nike. Essentially, it's sort of a mid-tier range boot. They say it is pro level, but it's only for those mid-tier players in my eyes. And in terms of sizing, true to size is the way to go for the Furon Pro. It does fit narrow, and it does, for those wide-footed players out there, it's not going to be great. But my overall sort of verdict on this boot is it is a dramatic improvement from the Warrior Sports Superheat Pro, but overall it's not up to standard with the modern day speed boots.